Hey, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Links, and this is a quick example of a competitive link analysis and the type of data that we use at Semantic Links to determine what a particular local business campaign needs as far as backlinks go in order to achieve better performance in local search. And so we use a very data-driven process with Google's own data of the top ranked, where we kind of average out the backlink profile information for the top ranked competitors for the particular search queries that are important to the local business or the client. Then what we do is we go, so first and foremost, I'm going to show you an example of a tree service client project of mine. My own local SEO agency, I work with tree service contractors, and so this is one of the clients that we have added to Semantic Links for link building. And you'll see that this is a tree service contractor in Louisville, Kentucky. So the first thing that we do is geolocate the browser so that we can simulate a search from that particular location. And then we go perform the search for the various search queries that are important to the most important search queries for the client. And so, for example, tree service Louisville, Kentucky, or at Louisville, KY in this case. And what we do is title these sheets after the search queries that we use to collect the data. Then we go in and we pull in the top 5 ranked competitor page URLs that are ranking for that particular search query and put them in the position that we found them when we pulled in those page URLs. Then we go analyze their backlink profiles using Majestic. Majestic is our backlink analysis application because of the topical relevance metric known as topical trust flow. Relevance is what matters, and with link building, when it comes to local search, it is relevance that matters. It's not third-party metrics like DA or DR or any of that. It's about relevance first and foremost. Those third-party metrics can be used as a secondary metric if you determine potential link sources are relevant first. Then if you want to use those other kind of third-party proprietary metrics as a determining factor as to which link source to select, then that makes sense. But first and foremost, you should be focusing on relevance. And so what we do is we analyze the top-ranked competitor backlink profiles for the ranking pages for that search query. And we average out, we plug in, we classify each of their anchor texts into one of 5 categories, as you can see here. We'll explain what those anchor text categories are on our call. But then we classify the anchor text backlink profile for each of the top ranked competitors by classifying their anchor text, plugging that data into this sheet, and then it gives us the average number of links and the average anchor text ratios for the top ranked pages for that particular search query. So now we have the quantity metrics that we need in order to know what we have to try to meet and exceed for the target client to be able to perform better and outrank these top-ranked competitors for this particular search query. Then we repeat the same process for each of the primary search queries that are important to the local business. We also analyze the target assets for the client as well, just to be clear, so that we can create kind of that backlink gap analysis, so we can identify where the deficiencies are and then what we need to do in order to meet and exceed what the top-ranked competitors are doing. But that's only quantity-based metrics. We have not done anything talked about relevance at all yet. And so what I've discovered through through a lot of testing over the last couple of years is that it's links with topical relevance that influence organic ranking mostly and has a slight influence on Google Business Profile performance and map search when it's a local project. But links with geographic relevance have an influence on maps ranking or GBP performance in maps ranking, and a slight influence on organic ranking. So what we try to do is strike a balance between links with topical relevance and links with geographic relevance, which again, I will explain what the difference is between these two and how we do it on our call. But the next thing that I want to show you is we need to then determine what are the relevance metrics that we need to be, what type of topical categories should we be getting links from? And we want Google's data. So this is Google's own top-ranked competitor data. Then we analyze their backlink profile. We get the quantity-based metrics. But then we want to go determine what does Google understand about the pages that are ranking for this search query. So we take the target asset plus the top 5 ranked competitor page URLs, and we plug them into this tool called OnPage AI that then submits these page URLs to Google's natural language API, which then returns this data. And it tells us these are the topical categories that were identified in the main content body of these pages. So we consolidate that list and deduplicate it, and we list those Google natural language categories right here so that we know exactly which type of content we need to place our contextual link within so that we can achieve page level relevance from the backlink that we are going to place. But we also want to look at the overall topical theme of the potential link sources that we're going to be publishing the post on that contains a contextual link. And we want to determine what is the overall topical theme of the site that we're publishing the post on, so the potential site. because we want that to also fall into one or a combination of these categories so that we can achieve domain level relevance from the backlink as well. So we're achieving relevance at multiple levels, referring page level, referring domain level. Then what we do is we match up the Majestic's topical trust flow categories, which is a different category structure, but they're very similar to Google's natural language categories, so that when we're analyzing backlink profiles, we know exactly which topical categories to be getting backlinks from, because these are the topical categories that align with the Google's natural language categories that were identified on the top ranked pages for that search query. So now we know at 3 different levels really what type of topical relevance matching we should be trying to achieve for our clients. So an example of this is if we look at the top ranked pages, we can see kind of the overall backlink metrics as far as backlinks from referring domains and the trust flow values here. But what we're really after is trying to identify those that have link sources that have the most relevant backlink profile already pointing to the link sources, and then the link sources have the topical categories of the content of their site within one or a combination of the categories that we identified as being relevant for this particular search query. And so an example of how the type, here's how we identify those categories, and here's an example of the types of links that we place for this example project. If we go take a look at the tier 1 link sheet, and here's the link sheet that we place the links with topical relevance, and we can see that the type of matching that we're able to achieve are relevant, topically relevant both at the page level and the referring domain level, and also even the backlink profile pointing to the referring domains is going to be relevant. And I'll demonstrate that for you here, because if we go take a look at the backlink profile pointing to this referring domain where we have that link placed, you can see that the trust flow value is 31 in the business, agriculture, and forestry topical trust flow category, which was one of the categories we identified here as being relevant for backlinks. So you can see that we're actually achieving relevance at the referring page level, referring domain level, and the backlink profile that's pointing to the referring domain. And we collect all this data before we ever place the first link for any client. This is always the start of every campaign as a competitive link analysis report or competitive intelligence report, so that we can determine exactly what the quantity-based metrics are first, and then what the topical relevance metrics are, and then we can go out and develop a plan specifically for this particular project to achieve top ranking performance in about 3 months. That's our goal, is to always try to develop a plan that is going to show significant ranking gains for your client in as little as 3 months, sometimes sooner. But we always ask for 3 months because, let's face it, a client doesn't want to wait 6 months to see results, but also expecting results, significant results within 1 month of link building is not realistic. We found that if you get a competitive link analysis report done and then you ask for a recommendation after I've analyzed this data, I can provide you with a link building plan that should help your client produce significant ranking gains for your client within 3 months. That's always my goal, is to recommend the link building subscription plan or bundles of services and a proper sequence and schedule for those in order for your client to achieve significant ranking gains within 3 months. So that is a competitive link analysis report. This is what we provide for all of our prospective clients, and we do this for every single campaign before we ever build any links. And every single month, as long as it's under an active subscription, we regenerate all this data because the data changes, and we have to use this data to make educated decisions on what this particular campaign needs, using real-time data to make those decisions. And so this is a very data-driven process using Google's own data in order to achieve better performance for the clients that we serve. So that is a competitive link analysis report. That is what we will be providing to you if you submit the comp analysis form, and we will review this data on the call. Let me know if you have any questions. My name is Bradley Benner with Semantic Links. Thank you.